Okay, as a young Christian, what's the best way to be involved in influencing others?
Ooh. This might not be the answer you necessarily expect, but I would say the best way to influence others is to influence yourself. I do remember as a kid, I was listening, so I'm named after this guy called Martin Lloyd-Jones, most people probably know that by now. And I was listening to some of his stuff, reading some of his stuff, and one of the things he said was, one of the most obvious things about you ought to be that you are a Christian. Doesn't necessarily mean that everybody knows what it is about you that they're noticing, but it should be noticeable. It should change you, it should transform you. You think even of what I said before, to be merciful. I mean, there's not many people like that these days. To be, narcissism and self-righteousness are on the rise. If you are someone who is for others, there's all sorts of things about you that should speak to others of a difference. Now, that doesn't come overnight. That comes through effort, prayer and effort. And there will come a day when someone actually asks you the question and says, what is it about you? And he said that, and I thought, I'm going to make that my goal, have someone ask me the question. And it happened one day, and I remember distinctly when it happened. I was at work, and someone said, what is different about you? And I thought, hallelujah. This is the moment where you say, Jesus Christ, and they get saved. But it really ought to be that way. And you say, well, gosh, how can that happen? I think one of the two guarantees that you'll get there. One is actually be a person of prayer. Ask God to show you, and ask God to give you those opportunities. I find that when I pray for opportunities, they come. They do come. Sometimes they're not quite what you expected, but they come. The other thing is open a Bible and start to read it. And read it, and read it, and read it, and study it, and read books about it, and read it some more, and read some more books about it, and read it some more, and then read it all again, and read it all again, and read it all again. I'm not joking, because eventually some lights will seriously start to go on for you, and eventually you will find yourself doing what it says and being changed by what it says. I heard recently, it was Professor John Lennox, and he said, read it and study it and wrestle with it until you see the face of God. That's what you must do. And I do remember as a late teens, early 20s, one of the things that I'm most grateful for is the opportunity to, at that time I remember spending up to 5 hours in a day studying, because I had to do youth group and preaching and various other things because of the church situation that I was in. And that was the most significant thing I think I have ever done in my life, and God brought that circumstance along. So I would set myself to doing that. There can be nothing more important, and it will change you, and pray for the opportunities and they'll come.
That's great. This
Might I say this as well, actually, sorry,
Yeah.
one more thing. The other thing is keep doing the next thing. A lot of young people want to change the world. You probably won't change the world, but you might do something important. And just pray for that something important to come along. And you've always got something in your circumstances that you can do today. It might be going to visit an elderly person who needs a visitor. It might be as simple as that. You're supposed to visit the widows in their affliction. This is what you learn when you read the Bible, right? And you're supposed to go and see them. Or it might be that you can give some service to someone who needs it, or do something at your church. Just think, what can I do? I assure you, he who is faithful over little will be set over much. The next thing will come.